What's up, guys? Welcome back to today's video. In this video we're going to go over an 86-acre piece of property that we recently consulted on, and then actually the landowner hired us to come back in and actually do some of the work. And I'm going to draw this up on my iPad, and I'm only showing you half of the property. I'm zoomed in a lot because I just don't want to give out the whole aerial photo of it so nobody knows where it is. I'm not giving you the name of the landowner or nothing like that, but here are some tips and techniques that you guys can implement on your property and how I look at dealing with a property that's taken over by cedars. Now, this property was 100% taken over by cedars. Not 100%. There was a lot of cedars. There was some open areas that was old cattle pasture and all that. So when I consulted on it, I met with the landowners and we walked the entire property, and I came up with a plan for them, and they actually decided to hire me to come back and do the work. So I'm going to pop this up on the screen and let's go over some of this, some of the things that I did to help improve their property, and I think they're going to have a good hunting experience this fall. So first thing first, we have this area right here. Okay, this area here was a massive cedar thicket, as you can see, and on this cedar thicket it kind of dropped off this way going downhill. Okay, it's kind of on a slope. There was a flat spot here that was the flattest spot in this entire cedar thicket. Now typically in cedar thickets you don't have a lot of food. Okay, now in this cedar thicket there was zero food on the ground level, and one of the issues with this property was it was lacking food. So we had to get more food in there. But the way the rest of the property is set up, I wanted to create the cedar area into more of a bedding area that they never penetrate, and also create food and cover at the same time, because in there down at a deer's level there was no food and there was no cover because all the needles and stuff on the pines and cedars were all dead because they weren't getting sunlight. So all the branches, probably from 5 feet down, were completely dead. So if those deer were actually in there, there is no real thermal wind protection because everything's dead at that level. So we came through and we actually took a bunch of these cedars and we just started cutting like different sections out. Okay, we started cutting different sections out in these cedars, and to open it up, get more sunlight in there, let them fall, drop, decay, rot, and decompose. And we did not want to deal with fire in here, so with the landowner and everything. So we dropped the cedars, we cut them off with a chainsaw to open that area up more, to get some more cover in there at ground level, get more sun, you'll get some regeneration. And then the big thing was, we took a skid steer and we made trails in here that open them up like this, all the way through, like different pockets on this flat bench. And then we did another one here that kind of went up to here and kind of like this, all the way through this area that led out into this bottom down this way. We just took the skid steer, we made trails and roads, we came through, plowed it all over, and we just opened it up. And a lot of people hate cedars, but cedars can be good, especially in an area where, a property where the deer are used to these cedars. They're used to these areas. We don't want to eliminate all of these cedars altogether because that's their habitat. That's what they're used to. This entire area for miles, each property was nothing but cedars. So we didn't want to eliminate them all, and we wanted to leave some there, but also provide cover and food at the same time. So that's what we did in this area. Now they're also building a road on this side that they can use to access, which is going to cut out into here. Then it's going to be able to wrap around this side over into here. And they can access, we took this timber here and we did a bunch of cuttings in here, We opened this timber up because there was a huge, there was some bedding over in here a little bit, and there's some bedding here, and there was a travel corridor right in here along this bench on this hillside. So we cut a lot of timber there to compensate for this trail, to help improve it. And we have a couple stands in here that they can access. It kind of drops off. So they can walk on this old road and then literally walk 15 yards into the woods. They're in the trail, they're hunting the travel corridor, and now you have all this big timber area here that's actually cut. Then the thing was, we had down in here was a huge bedding area in here. So what we did in here is going to also benefit this, but there was a travel route in here that kind of circled back in through here. So they're actually going to be able to access this road, pop up through here, come down this road here, they're going to pop in here, and there's a stand. And it's a huge hill that goes down toward this, into this bottom, right in here is a huge bottom. So we cut the timber kind of like in here a little bit to open it up, so they actually have a rifle shot from up high looking down into this bottom to shoot this trail. And these bulldozed roads that we came out goes right back into this travel corridor through there. So we basically just made a big loop through this entire thing on this back side of this property, and we increased food by opening up the canopy. We did a bunch of hinge cutting through certain areas through here. We took the skid steer. So there's a bunch of different implements that we used to create the better habitat for these guys, and I think they're going to have huge success. Now, this is only a small portion of what we did. Further down in this map on the property, we did like 5 or 6 different food plots. We did some switchgrass areas, and then on the far south side, it was a huge cedar. It was 10 acres of cedars and pines. They actually found somebody to come in and actually cut those, basically clear cut those cedars and pines on that hillside to let it regrow. They actually found somebody that wanted the cedar. Excuse me. They wanted the cedars for some pole buildings they were building and all kinds of stuff like that. So it worked out for them. And we laid out tree stands, and there's some other cuttings, but this is just what they hired us to do. We were there for about 2 days, and we had a skid steer, a four-wheeler, some chainsaws. Me and Zach went in and did all the work. But this is just some things you can do to improve your land. Hinge cutting, cutting the timber, getting aggressive with it, creating cedars. When you have cedar areas, some people hate cedars, some people like them. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't love them, I don't hate them. I try to use them to match the habitat, but I try to improve that a little bit. I don't want to eliminate all the cedars, but I still want to utilize them to direct deer flow and get rid of, say, 30, 40, 50, 60% of them, that they can manage them, as years go on. So hopefully this helps you guys, just some tips and stuff on what we did and what we tried to help them with. So drop a comment down below, and good luck this season, and let me know what you're up to. Subscribe if you guys are new.